Vedanta Namo Upanishada Pramana. Vedanta is the knowledge attained from the Upanishads. The word Vedanta literally means Ved Anta, the last part of the Vedas or the last teachings of the Vedas. See, the four Vedas have the knowledge of almost everything. For example, the beginning part of the Vedas have prayers, rituals, sacrifices, etc. But the last part of the Veda, called Vedanta, is also known as the Moksha Shastra because it is specifically dedicated to Mukti, Moksha or enlightenment. By studying Vedanta, it is possible for a person to attain infinite and unconditional peace in this life itself, often while living in the household or grahastha. In very simplified words, the core of Vedanta is for a person to realize his true nature. That is, not associated with his body, mind, intelligence or ego. Mano buddhi hankara chittani naham. I am not my mind, not my intelligence and not my ego. To realize his true identity is the constant and ever unchanging Atma. Shuddhosi buddhosi niranjanosi. You are pure, conscious and taintless. This concept is very clearly and beautifully explained in this shloka, where it is stated that you, your true self, is the passenger of the Rath. The Rath is your material body, is your body. The Sarthi is your intelligence or buddhi. Your mind is the driving instrument and the horses are your indriya or five senses. When you truly realize this concept, you understand that you can choose to hear or not hear what your Sarthi is saying. That what the mind is chattering can be ignored and that is not related to you. Realizing this concept, even on the surface, can help with a lot of mental and emotional issues. It definitely did for me, and my knowledge is definitely sufficient. Dissociating yourself from your outward identities, such as your senses, your mind, your body, your relationships, your emotions, and being continuously situated in Brahma is known as Mukti. And the process of doing so, of dissociating yourself from these outward identities, is known as Drisha Viveka. I've made a specified video on this subject and I will link it in the cards above and in the description below. Now that we have covered what is the heart of Vedanta or what is the purpose of Vedanta in very basic and introductory sense, let us now move towards our main question. What is Vedanta? What is written in it? Where did it come from? When Swami Vivekananda was asked this exact question, what is Vedanta, in his infamous lecture that he gave in Harvard Institute, this was his first statement. Vedanta comprises of all the sects of Hinduism. That is, even if the ideology of different Hindu schools of philosophy seem to be different on the surface, they always have some section of Vedanta behind them. As I said in the first line of the video, that Vedanta is the knowledge that we get from the Upanishads. There are 108 Upanishads in total, but the essence of all the Upanishads is Srimad Bhagavad Gita. You can in fact find the word-to-word exact shlok in several Upanishads that you find in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So we can say that Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the 108 Upanishads and the Brahma Sutra form the basis of Vedanta. Brahma Sutra is another amazing scripture written by Maharishi Vedvyas. The commentary of different spiritual leaders on these three Shastras, that is Upanishad, Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra, forms the different section of Vedanta. Such as the commentary of Sri Adi Shankaracharya formed a major part of Advaita Vedanta. However, several rishis from thousands of years ago have not only followed the Advaita Vedantic philosophy but were pioneers in it, such as Maharishi Yakivalkya. Advaita Vedanta is often believed to be oldest form of teachings from Upanishads. The word Advait means non-dual. This is because in this philosophy, Atma and Brahma are considered to be the same. Aham Brahmasmi and Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham are some phrases from Advaita Vedanta. I have made a separate video specifically explaining the concepts of Advaita Vedanta. You can find it in the links above and in the description below. In Advaita Vedanta, everything apart from the Atma or Brahma is considered to be Maya or illusion. Sansara Maya Parivarjitosi. That is, the Maya of Sansar, illusion of the world, is fastened upon you. You, as in the Atma, who is the Brahma. Similarly, the commentary of Sri Ramanujacharya gave Vishishta Advaita Vedanta. In this section of Vedanta, the Atma and Brahma are considered to be separate. I will go into the detail of every different section of Vedanta in further videos. But in this video, I will just tell the name of these sections and the pioneers in it, because of course this is a very vast subject. Shuddhadvaita is a dualistic philosophy which was pioneered by Sri Vallabhacharya. Bheda Bheda Vedanta was pioneered by Nimbarka and Sri Bhaskaracharya, who lived in 7th and 8th century BCE. Looking at the different sections of Vedanta on the surface, it is possible that you conclude that these are extremely contradictory to each other. However, as I mentioned before, their core or their heart is the same. As Sri Krishna mentions in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, that Jnani people say the same truth in many different ways. These all Maharishis are Jnani and they are all saying the truth. However, if you are an individual who is not that interested in philosophy with not much time in hand, it is not possible for you to read all these Vedanta separately and then conclude their common core. So what should you do? Well, it has been evident in this whole video. You should read Srimad Bhagavad Gita. I know, if you're a Hindu, you might have heard this, read the Bhagavad Gita so many times. But hear me out. I have another logic for it. See, Vedanta is the knowledge that you get from Upanishads, and Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Upanishads. So, if you read Srimad Bhagavad Gita and truly understand and realize the knowledge in it, which itself is a tough task, then you will attain Brahma Gyan, the knowledge of everything that is required in this life and beyond. Ever since I started reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita, I always felt that it truly has the potential to make a person into Karma Yogi, Bhakti Yogi, Dhyan Yogi and Kriya Yogi. However, after becoming a student of Vedanta, I can logically and with guarantee say so, that Srimad Bhagavad Gita has the potential to make you all this and help you and guide you in attaining infinite peace, mukti, in this life itself. I would highly recommend Gita as It Is by ISKCON publication. That book really changed my life. It actually gave me a rebirth. I am making this video on the auspicious day of Guru Purnima. If you are watching this video today, that is on Guru Purnima, it might be a call for you to walk towards a life of worthiness, a life of self-realization, a life of peace and a life of Paramarth. And if you are not watching this on Guru Purnima, well, there is no wrong time to start the right thing. If you would like to support me in my effort to bring back the ancient knowledge and wisdom of Sanskrit texts back to the modern society, please consider subscribing to my channel Brahma Vachika. Jai Siya Ram.